Hey guys, welcome to the Our Anime Podcast. Today we'll be talking about fall 2016. I almost messed up the year. That would have been bad. So we're going to talk about the shows we liked, shows we didn't like, shows that we maybe didn't even watch. That'd be interesting. So I guess, yeah. So joining us today we have Kavrik.
Hello from Moscow. Sleepy Moscow, I guess.
Welcome back.
Yeah, it's good to have you back. It's been a really long time.
Yeah.
We have Shaw King.
Yo.
And joining us again is Sinris.
Hello, everybody.
We figured it'd be a good idea to bring you back so you can tell us how your impressions
Here
or
for the beginning
thoughts
and the
on the
end.
show. Yeah, something like that. Consistency.
Yeah, to be here
A
again.
full
Even though we're swapping out
retrospective.
another person. But, whatever. So I guess we can get right into it and talk about a show that we all hold very dear to our hearts. And that's Drifters.
Well, it's getting a season 2, so it has to be good.
I
like the enthusiasm.
I want to say it wasn't as bad as some people want to be it. It's like still served its purpose. It was a very bloody and gory action, which was cool actually. And
yeah, I thought the action was fine.
yeah, and what I also liked is lots of historical references and some unexpected twists with real characters, who as they appeared later on. I don't want
Drifters
to
makes me
spoil
sad.
much.
That's a good way of putting it. Drifters.
Well,
makes
you
me
can maybe
sad.
go into a little bit of. We can maybe go into a little bit of spoilers.
Nothing
I can
big,
tag
but-
stuff.
Yeah. Well, there was a point that actually Adolf Hitler was actually a good guy who built a civilization over here.
So crazy.
Yeah, I
No,
don't.
but like they made Hitler a good guy in like an interesting way. Because he's not like actively in the show being a good guy. That would
Yeah.
be weird.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But he's a historical figure in the alternate universe who did a good thing.
It was kind of like he did something for himself that just happened to benefit other people too.
But like, also,
Yeah.
do we
Something-
know that
yeah.
he's like actually a good guy since like the place he made kind of enslaved like dwarves and elves and shit in like a very oppressive way? Like, I thought that was kind
That's
of a
true.
dick move. In general,
Yeah.
Only a little bit of a dick move.
just slightly.
They made Hitler into a morally ambiguous character, which is pretty
They made like everyone
Yeah.
like Hitler didn't jump the shark in that universe like he did in ours. Like at our point in our universe, everyone realized like, wow, Hitler is not good. Like not as good as everyone thinks he is. And then in that universe, he didn't get to that point. So he's less bad.
yeah.
All
But
right.
it was still interesting to watch him from a different perspective, I guess.
Yeah.
I didn't get to that. I got to the point where they kind of revealed that Hitler was involved somehow, but I didn't really see much of what he did. So like I left off at a point where they like there was like a picture of him and they talked about him a little bit, but they didn't really.
Yeah, he wasn't actually involved in any events of the series. They just talked about him, kinda, and there was a portrait of him on the wall, and that's about it. But it's still
that's about it?
something
Okay.
that caught my attention.
And then there was like the cross-dressing Sugita or something.
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was kind
Something
of
like that.
it was kind of like it had a lot of potential. Like it's a pretty interesting concept. It's like a different take on like a battle royale of like historical figures
Yeah.
than like the Fate series. But I think it just kind of missed the mark in that like every time they talked, it was bad. Like the comedy was like
Yes,
characters-
every time they talked, it was bad. Exactly.
like it felt really weird because I'm like trying
The
to
characters
like
were fine until they open up their mouths.
yeah, like I try and like get behind the dude, like the cool like I forget his name. It's not the main character, but like the guy
Nobunaga?
the guy who strategizes
Yeah,
everything.
Nobunaga.
I try to get
Nobunaga,
behind him,
yeah.
and I'm like, yo, I like what he's doing. And then they'll just have him go into chibi mode, and I was like, no, you're doing great.
And start like saying like
Yeah.
just calling everything boob something and
Boob,
just like
like,
what are you doing?
Yeah, that was like, yeah,
happening?
like that was kind of funny, but not really. So I think it had a
Yeah,
lot
like-
of potential, but it kind of missed the mark.
You know, Well, what I meant when I said that Drifters makes me sad is that it has all of the elements that a show I should really like would have, which is like historical figures interacting with each other in really like creative ways that show like who they were in real life, and it has like morally ambiguous protagonists, and like all the stuff Nobunaga said about him like discovering this future technology and talking about how useful it would be in war during his period, like when he gets the magic stone that lets him like communicate with other parts of the battle instantly. That was all really good.
Like, that's awesome. But I want more of that.
Everything else was so bad.
Yeah. And
it felt like I was suffering through 75% of every episode to get the 25% that I enjoyed.
Yeah, and this might be a bit edgy for me, but I didn't think the action was like, I didn't think there was enough action, and I don't think there was good quality action to make up for it. Because if there's like really top tier action, I can like forgive cancer comedy, but I think they needed more of that. Like, I can't even think of like a fight scene. Maybe like the last fight, like maybe that would really be like a standout great fight.
I didn't get to the last fight.
I'd say there was a good fight where the main character, what was his name once again?
Exactly.
Toyohisa?
Yeah. When he fought with Janowak.
Like, I want to say that's a good fight, but I think she was like so bad that I can't say that it was a good fight. I think the antagonists were really bad. Like, that...
Yeah, antagonists were kind of bad.
A fight, like an action scene I remember episode 5 or 6 or something, I don't know, where there's like a battle going on like inside a castle, there's like a battle going on in the fields outside, there's like a fighter plane flying around.
That was crazy.
They're like going through the city like on like a carriage. And, like,
that was episode 3. That was definitely the best episode of the show.
That was 3?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. But
I felt like that was like
I remember that.
way later. Wow.
Yeah.
No, I remember we talked about that battle in the beginning of the season. We did,
because we were like, yo, this is gearing up.
Oh, we totally did.
And how far we've fallen.
Yeah.
But interestingly enough, I do want to give the show credit that I think, like, a lot of bad shows do a lot of bad things wrong, but what's something that Drifters did right that even good shows can't really do is, like, they handled that one, like, rape scene, like, very tastefully. You guys know what I'm talking about?
The one where he like walked into like the tower.
Yeah, like they didn't do that.
That's fair.
They didn't do that in like a gratuitous way that was like really cheap. Like they didn't try and cheapen that scene. It was very much like, this is how war is. This is brutal. We're not going to forgive any of this. And I think it
was a little ham-fisted, but like tasteful.
It was tasteful considering the show and considering like the situation. It felt very like authentic to war. So I want to give them props for that because I mean sometimes good shows can't even pull that off.
Yeah, they did a good job of making you like as mad as the characters in the show. Yeah.
So, Drifter
but then
season
it was
2.
once again ruined by some humor sketch.
Yeah.
So that's Drifters, I guess. It had a lot of good elements, but couldn't put it together into a good show.
But it's getting a season 2, so
hype.
So maybe it'll pull it together in season 2, or maybe not.
We'll see.
Maybe.
To be determined.
So I guess we'll go to our next show, Drifters.
We put Drifters twice on the agenda because we wanted to talk about it so much.
On our notes, we accidentally wrote it down twice. So we can talk about Occultic 9. I didn't watch this. I heard really bad things about the first episode. I decided to hold off on it and wait for it to finish and see what reactions were.
Funny enough,
I was told to give it a pass. So
funny enough, after we did the recording for the initial fall 2016, like Signers was saying like, oh, you should go check it out because episode 3 was good, and I was like, haha, good one. And then I checked it out, and episode 3 was actually really good, and then it continued on being really good until like I don't know if what happened. I know what happened with the ending, but I don't know if that was really good. But like up until then, I
don't know if the ending was good or not. I'm gonna have to rewatch this show before I can actually form an opinion on it.
But it was a really crazy ride.
What was wrong with the ending? Was it hard to understand, or was it just rushed, or something like that?
I think
it was definitely hard to understand.
Yeah, it was like a lot of like confusing elements that were presented throughout the show that didn't really make sense. But I think another thing, it's like it jacked up the pacing a bit too. So they were covering a lot, and it was just, it was like Yeah, that was it. It was weird. But the thing was,
So it just got fast.
yeah, it was kind of like the first episode. I still maintain that first episode was like very awful. Like I don't remember a single thing that happened in the first episode. And then the second episode happened, and I was like, this is less bad. And then the third episode on to episode 11 was like a crazy wild ride where like amazing like mystery element, a lot of intrigue. Like they pulled off spooky horror elements really well. Like it was really cool, and it made you really look forward to the upcoming episodes. And then they had like this like a lot to cover in the last episode, and while they covered it and like they came to a conclusion, I don't know if it was really as enjoyable as the ride to get there.
I think I think Occultic 9 fell into the classic trap of anime with huge cast, which is that it ended up focusing a lot on a very small portion of that cast, and the other characters just felt like they were kind of there until the end when they did something really significant, but nobody knew how or why they should care anymore.
Yeah. Like, yeah, that's a good way of putting it too. But it was
That's
still...
a bane of any one core anime, actually.
Yeah, it's like one of those shows that was like, it was a fun watch. I would maybe recommend it under certain circumstances, but it's definitely not a must watch.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's kind of what I've heard about it. Other people are like, yeah, it was fine, but maybe pass on and maybe watch other things.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's
pretty much how
like
I
I want to watch
half
Ajin, and
was
people are
really
like, maybe
good.
watch that first.
Yeah.
I would definitely recommend Ajin above this show. Ajin was so good.
Oh, but the CGI. No. Just kidding. I don't have...
So ugly.
Get with the times. CGI is the future.
It's the future?
CGI is the future.
But then how do we watch anime?
Not even hand-drawn anime is hand-drawn anymore. It's all CGI. You just don't know it yet.
Yo, too much. This is like a Cultic 9 level twist. We are not ready for this kind of info dumping. We're not ready. But
Is that Eva 4.0?
That's Eva 4.0. No, that's 3.0 plus 1.0.
Oh, right, my bad.
Yeah.
You are not ready.
You need to deconstruct the math. But, so, that's Occultic 9. If you want to watch it, go for it. If not, also don't go for it.
Also, don't
Fair.
go for it. Go for it, or also don't go for it.
Yes. At the same time.
Do what your heart tells you to do.
Yeah.
So,
Okay,
will
so
you
we
go
can-
for it, Smurf?
What?
Will you go for it, Smurf?
I don't know. I might throw it on the plane to watch and watch it like 3 years.
We've got
from
like
now.
2 weeks before the next season actually starts, so you have plenty of time.
I am getting through my show so slowly right now. It's ridiculous.
And I have big plans for the next year.
So we can go into our next show.
Yep.
Okay.
Which I really liked a lot, which was Girlish Number.
Girlish
which is
number.
the Watari wrote Origairu. He made a show about a voice actress who's like a huge bitch.
Yeah.
And
Chitose.
fantastic.
Yeah, Girlish Number was a tough one because I think it had a lot of potential to be like really great. Like I thought it had the potential to be like the epitome of snarkiness and cynical humor. And I think it was heading there, especially with like, you know, Chitose being more and more of a shitbag. I mean that as a compliment.
Yeah.
And then
Oh, absolutely.
yeah, she's the best shitbag. I love her. And then we kind of got in like the middle. They had like they focused on like the other VAs and like some of
Yeah,
theirs.
the middle section was just not good.
Yeah, it was really weird, and it kind of threw it off track in like a really unfocused way.
Shibasaki's whole arc, I could not care any less about her.
Did she, the purple-haired girl?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
I was
Kazuka.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, that was something they could have like maybe done in an episode, maybe not even. Like I really didn't care that much, and then and I actually saw like one of the episode previews where it was like it was the end of the episode. It might have been like for 6 or 7, and they were making it seem like in that preview that like Chitose was off the show, and then her friend was like dissing her, and then the next episode was focusing on the purple-haired VA and they're going to the hot springs, and I was like, that's not what I saw in the episode preview, and that's not where this show should be heading.
And that's not why I'm watching this show at all.
Yeah, and it was like
I'm watching it for Chitose being a piece of shit.
Yeah, I wanted her to be a piece of shit and just continuously be an asshole, and then everyone be like, dude, you suck, and she's like, no, that's on you. Like, that was what was funny about it. And I found the ending to be like pretty touching, like her breakdown and like eventual like realization that I am a shitbag,
I really
but I need
liked
to
the
work
ending.
hard. Yeah, I like the ending.
Episodes like 10 through 12, where if like I could just take those 3 episodes and like watch those alone, then Girlish Number would be my anime of the season.
That's pretty high praise.
Yeah, I
But
can agree.
packaged
definitely up there for me.
with the rest of the show, it didn't quite get there.
Yeah, I think I would. Yeah, I think that's fair. It's like another one of those that was like could have been like really good for me, but it was only like pretty decent. But cannot take away that Chitose is great. She's a huge shitbag. I love her. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I like her a lot. I'm trying not to talk too much because my dogs upstairs are going ballistic, and I want to be able to cut it out of the audio.
I actually have a rather opposite opinion on Girlish Number.
Ooh.
Actually, I also loved Chitose, and I also believe she's an adorable shitbag. But I also enjoyed the middle section where the focus shifted on Kazuha and Momoka. It was nice. It was kinda out of place maybe, but that mini arc was kinda nice overall and developed the characters. What I disliked,
I mean the idea of the arc was nice, but I didn't think the execution.
the
was anything
decision
special.
wasn't that great, I guess.
Mhm.
I also disliked that there were also, do not forget about Yae and Koto, two other girls out of 5, and they were kinda there and forgotten and didn't get any attention whatsoever.
Well, I thought Koto had some moments. She was in a different role. Like Yai was just left out to dry and completely forgotten about. But Koto had a lot of stuff with like Chitose's. She had talks with Chitose's brother. She had talks with the purple-haired girl. Like she actually was showing up and like helping people out. Like I thought she was actually doing something.
She was like the only one who had like
Yeah.
her shit together, which is pretty uninteresting, but I guess it helps the other characters in a way. But
Yeah.
But
Oh,
yeah, I think
and can we take a moment to appreciate the secret best character, which was
The
what's
sloth.
his name? No, the new manager with
Oh,
like
that
the tennis
dude.
gear.
Oh, yeah.
No, his name was Matsuoka,
Yeah,
Matsuoka, yes.
Matsuoka.
and he was voiced by Matsuoka, I think.
Yes,
Perfect.
yes,
Yeah.
he was.
Perfect.
It was literally Matsuoka.
It was hilarious.
I think
Just
he's like a
screaming.
parody of an actual Japanese tennis player named Matsuoka. Their names have like one letter difference,
Oh, that's
Oh,
perfect.
but
Oh.
he's known for being
all
like
goes
super
together.
upbeat and happy, and they're like Japanese memes about how when he leaves the country, like the weather gets colder.
Wait, that's
It's
perfect. Oh, that's a cool
Yeah.
that's a cool little Easter egg.
Okay, that makes more sense now. I was like, who is this guy? I have a friend who doesn't like Matsuoka at all, and so when
Wow,
the,
what
like
a miserable
the,
person.
like the actor, not the tennis player.
Oh, okay, okay.
And when he showed up, like the guy's like, oh, I'm gonna go start the next episode of Ghost Number, and that character shows up like 10 seconds into an episode for the first time, and then immediately I'm just like, it's like, oh, it's time to start Ghost Number. Like 10 seconds later, it's like, no.
That's so perfect.
It's like, what happened? It's like, I don't even want to talk about it. You'll see. I was like, oh god, what's gonna happen?
There was also one.
Oh, go for it.
Okay.
You're good.
There is also one thing I want to talk about Girlish Number, and that's an interesting insight into Seiyu industry that the show provided, and how it all works, how the events work, how this all idol routine works, and so on.
Like the radio shows and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
performances.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. I like the Chitose songs she sings under her breath, where she's like voice
She's just
actors
singing
are
about what's
picked for
happening.
availability,
Yeah.
not by talent, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That was like some
She
great.
was so good.
Yeah, that was some great insight. And then it's like a nice snarky look.
I really need to add it to my favorites on Mal.
It's like supplementary viewing for after you watch Shirobako, you watch Girlish Number to see the other side of the
Yeah.
industry.
Well, that's pretty much it. That's why I watched it. So after watching Shirobako and Bakuman, I was like, industry shows are awesome, and so I've been like trying to watch some more. Like I'll probably watch Soraka Seiyu in a little bit, stuff like that. So it's really fun seeing the other side of stuff, especially when you have something like Chitose, who's like the bad side of it. It's just like
Yeah.
I can just walk in, yell at a mic for a little bit. It doesn't even matter how I'm good. I'll get paid. Who cares?
Exactly.
Yeah. Praise Chitose.
What I disliked about the later half of the anime is how the whole group revolved around Chitose and her getting there. Like, they all waited, they all smiled, they all pushed her forward while she still was a shitbag. And I didn't dig that much because everyone talked about how they dislike her and still waited on her to improve and improve and improve while she didn't improve at all. Like, the patience was there, but I didn't expect such patience from an industry like Seiyo.
The ending was really touching. I really liked the whole, like, the last few scenes where they kind of acknowledge, like, Chitose, you're a bitch and you're terrible at your job, but we still kind of like you.
Yeah.
And like, you're important to us and to the show, so...
I feel like the show isn't about... Like, I think some people thought it would be about Chitose becoming a better person. And she's not. She's a horrible person. But I feel like it's about her becoming a better version of herself.
Yeah.
Like, she's still a bitch.
Yeah, it's nice.
But her work ethic is definitely better now than it started.
Yeah.
Like, she's just better at being herself now.
Yeah, I definitely...
and it also had the single best line of the season. Which was...
Which one?
Chitose saying, if I could be the person I want to be, then I wouldn't be the person I am right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
after that line, I was like, alright, I'm done for the day. Like...
My favorite line that I like to quote, I took a screenshot, I like to post it all the time, is when she just says, "That's dumb, you suck."
Oh, my favorite is just, ga ha 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 ha, like when they do that, and I have a screamable
It's in the bag!
When, like, I just listened to that as like a streamable for like 5 minutes, and then I try and imitate it and fail.
You go to sleep listening to ga ha ha ha?
Ga ha! Yeah, that's my ringtone now. But, yeah, I mean, I think it's tough. I think they had, like, a bit of trouble with transitioning to the ending, but I do like the general message of, like, not being apologetic about Chitose being a horrible person, because that kind of would have undermined the whole point of the show. But I do like how it was like, you know, you're a terrible person, but it's a good thing you realize you suck as a VA and you need to work harder, so now we can all try and improve and just accept you as, like, the group's bitch.
Yeah, I agree on that. It just didn't sit well on me that the industry was too nice to her.
Yeah.
Like, they waited way too long.
Yeah, I definitely feel that. I feel like it was a bit unrealistic how they're like, no, we're gonna wait for Chitose to realize her moment instead of, like, on to the next one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Speaking of on to the next one, let's go on to the next show.
Okay.
We'll go to Kiss Him Not Me, which is, like, I don't know, Watashi ga...
Motate Dosunda?
Yeah, good job.
Yo, nice.
I didn't know the rest of it.
Nailed it.
Not a whole lot to say about the show. I don't know how many people watched it. I know I watched it.
I watched it.
I watched it.
I actually I read the manga after, like, the 3rd episode, and so I'm not sure if you guys knew this, but they actually, like, adapted things, like, out of order. So they adapted, like, so say, like, episode 14, like, 4 was, like, chapter 14, episode 5 would be, like, chapter, like, 30. Like, they skipped around a lot, and I think that, like, I'm not sure how that played out for you guys, but I thought it was kind of, like, I think it kind of jumbled it a bit. Like, I love this show, but I think some parts, like, fell flat because they tried to be too much like normal harem and not a harem about a weeb otaku piece of shit fujoshi. Like, I think they strayed away from that too long.
I didn't notice anything. It didn't seem weird to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't expecting much from the show. Like, that sounds kind of bad. Like, I did like the show. I think it was like my 4th favorite of the season or something. But every, like, Friday night, it was just like, oh, it's midnight, time to watch Kiss Him Not Me, time to watch another episode of just, you know, kind of standard cliche-filled reverse harem.
Yeah.
But, like, with a twist. Like, it's kind of a parody of itself as well.
Yeah.
It was just a fun show. I didn't really look too much into, like, how consistent things were, how the plot was. Because it was pretty episodic, so I don't think it really worried about it too much.
Yeah.
The show was really hit or miss for me. I think there were some episodes that were hilarious, and there were some that I didn't laugh at all for the entire, like, 25 minutes of it.
Yeah. I think that kind of also came down to, like, whichever, like, it got to a point where it was, like, explore this character, and if you don't like this character, then it's going to be flat.
You're not going to like the episode.
Yeah, each character got, like, an episode or two to themselves.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
And it's
The episode where they go on a pilgrimage to like her husbando's grave was the best one of the show.
That was so funny.
That was so good. But it's like the good parts were whenever it was about her being a massive weeb and Fujoshi shipping like the other boys in her harem and everything. Those parts were all funny. When it was focusing on the boys like trying to get with her, then it was boring as shit.
Yeah, that's my thing.
It kind of fell into like standard harem, and it's just like, we've all seen this like a million times.
Yeah, like at first I thought it would be like on the edge and be like too cringy. Like I was worried about it being too cringy with like the Fujoshi weeb shit kind of jokes, but I think it needed more of that.
I was expecting. So before watching it, I didn't realize it was actually going to be kind of a harem. I thought my impression of the show, based on like the synopsis and stuff, was that she had literally no interest in dating them and was only shipping them.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I thought it was going to be.
But I do think the one positive that we can all agree on, it had some top tier reaction faces. Like,
definitely. It also had some top tier eye catches.
Yeah, it had some pretty great. Like, I still have
like the one where they were all in JoJo poses.
Yeah, I think it. Yeah, when they had all the JoJo poses, JoJo reference.
The Attack on Titan one. The Attack on Titan one was really good too because they had her dressed up as Sasha, and that's Sasha's voice actress too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do have like a lot of the times where it's like the two guys are interacting, and she's in the corner with like drooling and shit. Like
5 by 7. Yeah. No, it's 7 by 5.
That was like that stuff's pretty funny. I think they should have played that up more, but I think it was still a pretty fun watch. It did decent. It did good. Kiss him, not me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was alright.
For sure. I wanna ask a question. How conclusive the ending was?
Well, it was purposely not conclusive.
It was purposefully inconclusive.
Ending.
Like
not
the final joke. The final joke of the show is that she doesn't choose.
Yeah. Well, she chooses.
Like that.
Well, she chooses, but
right.
But
she chooses somebody
to be.
Truly,
I see the show was kind of self-aware.
Oh yeah, they were definitely like self-aware about a lot of things. Like they even had this one scene that I thought was like kind of impressive, but I didn't like pick up on it. But it was like actually doing like some self-commentary on like boys' love, like relationships, and how sometimes they can be like really iffy on like consensual relationships. Like they actually kind of like did some self-commentary on that, and I didn't really pick up on that, but someone noticed it in a discussion thread, and I was like, oh.
What scene was that?
It was the Nana episode.
I did not pick up on that.
Where he was, like, the Nana episode where, like, he has a fever and he kisses her, and then she, like, runs away.
Oh, yeah, that episode was really rapey.
Yeah, that was, like, really weird.
That was really uncomfortable.
Yeah, and then they have her back at, like, her place, and she's reading some, like, Boys Love Dojin, and she's like, oh, this is great in, like, a dojin, or when it's guys, but, like, in real life, this sucks.
Right.
Yeah, and that's, like, a small, clever thing.
Yeah, that was good.
That's clever, but, like, if someone else didn't point that out, I wouldn't have picked up on that, but it's, like, I guess that works in retrospect. But then
yeah, okay, I remember that, yeah, I picked up on that.
But I guess, can we all also agree that Senpai is best guy?
Senpai best guy.
Definitely.
Definitely.
Yeah, of course.
That's all we...
Senpai was the best.
That's all we need to agree on.
Shoujo Josuke was alright.
He's one of those that I'm like, I would choose him if I was in the harem, but I think Senpai is best for K. But I'll take Shoujo.
Senpai was so gentle.
Yeah. He's just like, he didn't even know what was going on half the time. He just showed up for shits and gigs.
He just showed up because he liked hanging out with people. Yeah.
He's like, I love all of you guys.
He just liked hanging out with them all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you like it, right? It's like,
what?
I like all of you. You're all cool. We're just hanging out, right? And it's like,
you're my friends.
No, it's like this is a harem. It's like
this is a competition,
wait,
dude. Get with the program.
What the fuck? So that was pretty great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one. Check if you want like a funnish comedy, go check it out. We're also not forcing you to watch that.
It's a like I wouldn't say it's a must watch, but it's a good time.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Senpai Besto.
Up next.
So we can go on to another show that I didn't think was a good time.
Flip Flap Genesis Evangelion?
Yes.
Come on, it wasn't that deconstructive.
Well, this is one of those that a lot of people, this is like a lot of anime of the year, anime of the season, sleeper hits, cult classics.
This is definitely the birth of a cult classic.
I wouldn't go as far and call it a cult classic, but let's call it the most controversial show of the season.
Is it? I thought it was just controversial because, like, I think me and Smurf are, like, the two people who are, like, not thrilled by it. Like,
No. I'm digging through the discussion threads, and at the bottom there are actually many comments about how people do not like certain moments of the anime.
There's
and,
literally dozens of us.
Yeah.
Well, I think you can get away with saying you don't like Paprika, but if you say you don't like anything else, you're kind of out of luck.
Well, I guess we can list the good things first.
I'd say the show was carried hard by the art design of the show. It was a really well established world. It was a really great visual experience overall. Like, it was
Visuals were nice.
Visuals were
yeah,
interesting.
It was so colorful. It was so dynamic.
Very colorful.
So great.
I liked the show at the beginning when it was still episodic.
Yeah.
Like there was like the Mad Maxi episode.
I like the
really cool.
spooky
That
episode.
one was great.
The spooky episode was my favorite.
The spooky
That
episode was the best
really
one.
good.
Yeah.
I think my favorite was actually the one where they're exploring the artist girl's mind and they're like reliving her past and there's like the dual personality thing.
Yeah.
That was
That
my
one was good,
favorite.
too.
And I thought that
it
was
also
going to
my
be
favorite.
Yeah, they had some cool episodes throughout. My problem was when we got to the end and the
plot
writers
came in.
decided like, oh, we need a plot, guys.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
And it's like,
I think
and like there was a lot of really convenient. There were a lot of conveniences.
and I think there was a
I haven't seen the last episode yet, so I can't say
Okay.
with like
we'll try not to
certainty.
spoil you.
Okay,
But
I'm like
Right, okay.
I'm like literally the last person to be complaining about convenience.
Um,
But
your next line is
I thought- the final plot, like, that was introduced in the last 3 or 4 episodes wasn't terrible, I don't think. But like
it
wasn't
different.
great either.
I think my
It wrapped up
It was
it
a
wrapped
weird
up
twist.
all of the things that needed to be wrapped up, but not in any really innovative or an original way, which was disappointing because up to that point, Flip Flappers was a very innovative and original show.
I have to say though, I kind of have some gripes with like. Well, I think my main gripe was like I thought the first half kind of felt like a coming of age, like learning about yourself story for Kokona, and I thought they were doing that through like these different explorations. Like you have the like play on the Yuri episode, you have
Yeah.
the dual personality
really
episode,
good.
and then you have the like oh how do you feel about Paprika episode where like Paprika's everyone, and then it kind of felt like they kind of like scrapped that and kind of like the main plot was now like oh by the way is really psycho and they had her in an experimentation like facility and now she has a dual
yeah, it was
personality.
like a
That's
really
true.
weird. They were like really weird. Someone pointed out it might have actually been Kavrik. I don't remember. But someone pointed out that it was weird to have a whole show about Kokona like coming up like over like her own like I don't know, like overcoming herself basically,
Mm-hmm.
becoming a better person, and then just like suddenly an outside antagonist shows up. It's like wait,
Yeah.
I thought like she was her own antagonist. Why is there
Yeah.
another antagonist join?
And
her?
I liked-
What's happening?
And the issue is not just that they introduced like an antagonist at the very end. It's that by introducing that antagonist, they took Kokona like out of the narrative picture.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
it wasn't Kokona fighting this new antagonist. It was Paprika and Yayaka fighting this antagonist
Yeah.
on behalf of Kokona.
Yeah, like
Yeah, and if the antagonist was good, I would be more or less okay with that. But
Yeah.
that evil version of our antagonist was a very flat and one-dimensional person, and that kind of didn't sit well with me.
yeah, if it was like Kokona was fighting herself and she needed help from her friends to fight herself in the final battle and then
Yeah.
become her own person, I'd be cool with that. That would be a cool thing. But having it who we've seen nothing for in like the past 10 episodes fell flat. And I don't really I mean, this is just me. I've really never found Paprika or Kokona to be compelling characters in any sense.
Oh no,
Like, I
Yayaka
thought
was
that-
definitely
Kokona
the
was-
best character of the show. Like by
Oh yeah,
far.
Yayaka was
Oh wait,
easily best.
what
Yeah,
about
Yayaka
Kusuo?
was great.
Who?
Yayaka
bunny?
was-
The
Yayaka
bunny was
great.
also second best.
Yes.
Like I'm,
Yuksen
Bunny was
was
the best
also
character.
good.
and then so that's where we're at. Where the bunny is second best. He was in like 3.5 episodes. So like I think it would have felt like I think another thing. This might be a bit of a triggering thing to say. Trigger warning. It's a like opinion. I
I'm
felt
bracing
like it was pretty. I felt like a lot of aspects felt superficial because it didn't really feel grounded
I'm
in
triggered.
any theme because they were kind of confused about it. Like they were confused with things, and because Paprika and Coconut never really felt like real people. It was like, even if they had some cool symbolism for things, it didn't really feel grounded in like a good foundation-based story kind of thing.
I'd say the first half kind of did a good job at exploring subconscious and invented kind of things, because it showed a lot of Coconut's projections, I suppose, on how she feels about the world around her. But then, as we said before, the show kind of started to pick up plot for some reason and went the direction. Yeah. I also want to rant about a bit the ending that was not to my liking. And
we don't want to get too much into the ending.
Or did you mean the song? Oh, did you mean the ending or the song? Because I think most people like...
No. The very... Not the song.
Yeah, because I think most people like that.
The final, yeah. The final was kind of not as good as I would like it to be, and it was just too bright and shiny.
I feel pretty confident saying that my favorite part of the final episode was the instrumental cover of the ED that played in the middle of the episode.
Yeah, I think my favorite part...
This was a really good ED.
My favorite part, sorry, this is mild spoilers, was when the bunny showed up again and caught Yayuka. That's my favorite part of the episode.
Yeah.
That is definitively it.
Right.
I daisuke that part. I hate myself. I'm not saying that again. I hate that shit. Okay.
This is the second time you've said it tonight. I don't believe you when you say it's not going to happen again.
It's like when you say something ironically and then it becomes unironic and then you hate yourself.
And then we do it live.
So, yeah, Flip Flappers, I think most people loved it. But I think some people would love it even if, like, they just did, like, Evangelion's, like, last 2 episodes and just had, like, scribbles and shit. Like, those people would love it no matter what happened. But,
I mean, they did end of Evangelion, so they might as well have done the last 2 episodes.
Yeah, I kind of have some beef with them, like, kind of copy-pasting that, but, I mean, whatever. I bitched enough.
Not like the big part of End of Evangelion, but like the first half.
Yeah,
they like comparative
blow for blow, copy pasted into one of the last episodes.
Yeah, they probably Googled like how do we do an invasion scene, and they're like found the Evangelion.
The bad guys invade the headquarters.
They're like, we're gonna do
this. It's not even Paprika and Coconut anymore. Now it's just like it's actually like Shinji and Asuka and Ray. It's like, wait, what's happening?
Yeah, that would be funny.
Yeah, we're just literally doing.
We're literally Evangelion now. But
I might also trigger some people and say that in the end, Flip Flappers was a cheaper version of Mahou Penguin Drum in many cases.
Well, I would feel triggered if someone said this was better than Penguin Drum. I would get triggered by that. So yeah, I'm feeling happy that you're saying that. So reverse reaction.
I don't really get the comparison.
I'd say Flip Flappers had an interesting concept, an interesting few ideas and art design. A great opening and ending, but really anything else.
Yeah. So we're saying, I think, I haven't seen Fooly Cooly, but if I'm like, so we're not saying...
I never liked the Fooly Cooly comparison. It has very little in common with Fooly Cooly.
I felt like it worked a lot better at the beginning.
Yeah.
And as it went on, I felt like...
the first episode felt very similar to Fooly Cooly, but after that, not so much.
Okay.
Yeah, at the beginning, I was like, oh, this kind of feels like Fooly Cooly, and then as the show went on, it was like, now it's feeling like Fooly Cooly less and less.
Have any of you seen Kaiba?
No.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
It felt very, very similar to Kaiba to me.
Yes.
In like every way.
Yeah.
Like the colorful cartooniness, the semi-episodic nature
planets.
for most of it, the exploring different worlds.
Yeah.
And then at the end, it introduces like this overarching plot that doesn't really make sense and isn't very good.
So so what we're saying is if people who are listening to this like Flip Flappers, go watch Kaiba.
Yeah, yes, that's what we're saying.
Yes, it's better. I suppose.
So I guess we can.
At least we got something good out of this.
So we can flip flap to the next topic.
Yes.
Okay. So I guess we can talk about I don't know what people want to call this.
I'm looking
Racing project.
Magical Girl Racing.
Keikaku.
Oh, according to Keikaku. Wait, it's actually
yes.
all
that's
according
show,
to Keikaku.
It's Keikaku.
Magical Girl Racing Project, which was all according to Keikaku.
I don't think there was a plan involved in the writing of Racing Project.
I think there was a plan, but I don't think we liked the plan.
Was to just kill everybody?
Here's the plan. Step 1, lots of magical girls. Step 2, question mark, question mark, question mark. Step 3, they kill each other.
No, Step 2 is call Geno Ibuchi for ideas.
He hangs up.
Step
then
3
we come up
is
with
they
our
all
own
kill
stuff.
each other.
Yeah, so This was like it was for most of the season. It was like a very hard fought battle between this and Drifters for the worst of the season for me. Like they were fighting till the end to be worse than one another, and
Interesting.
I think Drifters won, but Magical Girl Rising Project was still very bad.
Or did it lose? Did it win or lose?
I lost in both of these. That's how I feel. But no, this like
I never thought it was worse than Drifters.
Yeah.
I think it was definitely worse than Drifters.
So Racing Project was it was an interesting show. It felt like we all knew what it was going to be from the very beginning.
Yeah.
So like any twist that it had was just like, I mean, we know. We know
never saw that coming.
I think
it's just like. It's like, oh, guess what? We've killed like 10 magical girls. Guess what? We just killed an 11. It's like,
yeah.
No.
Yeah, this one definitely missed the
wow,
mark.
I never saw that one coming.
This one was like, how do we kill people in a way that's not compelling? And they found a new way to do it, which was kill them and then tell their backstory. Which is like changing the game
while they're dead. It's like yeah, they're dead. Oh, guess what? Now you're gonna feel sad for me. It's like I don't though. Like they're dead.
Yeah, it's like first
They're
off they
literally
weren't
dead already.
they were barely there in the first place. Then they just got dead, and now you're gonna backstory me? No, hard pass.
They did that a few times. They did
Shaw,
that a few
you
times
want
where
to
they
get
kill a
triggered?
character, and then do the backstory like 2 episodes later. Like you've already completely forgotten the character existed, and they're like backstory. It's just like why? What is this?
No, I don't think that was really the issue. Because Time to Trigger You, it was the exact same form of characterization as Haikyuu uses, which is the opponents don't get characterized until they're losing, and then you feel bad for them because they lose.
But I miss the feeling
The
bad for them
issue
because
is that
they're
Haikyuu's
losing.
backstories are good, and Magical Girl Racing Project's backstories were terrible.
Yeah.
So
I accept this.
They were so pretentious, so badly written, these backstories, that they were hilarious. And
So what I got-
the show was very illogical, very stupid. It had really bad backstories and very subpar ending. And you know what show had the same qualities? Mayuiga. And
Yo.
actually, I'd say
No, because Mayuiga saved anime, and the show was bad.
Mayuiga
So-
was at least funny. Like this one
Yeah,
wasn't even
Keikaku
funny.
is a bad version of Mayuiga, and that's commendable, I guess.
Oh yeah, that's the best way of putting it. Oh,
to help the backstory stuff, what I've read from light novel readers, because there are some people in the discussion thread that are really passionate about the show, which I was pretty shocked
There
to
are
see.
some people.
there's always the 1%.
But apparently the backstories weren't in the original light novel. They were all side stories. So what they do is they're covering the light novel, someone dies, then they just stick the side story back, like the spin-off backstory into the show, and then continue with the light novel. And then when the next person dies, they just stick the side story in there again.
Interesting.
So I don't know if that would make it better or worse. Like, would it be better if there were no backstories?
I don't know, because I'm like, what would be put in that time frame instead?
I want to say it would.
Yeah, if we
Because-
focus more on the MC, then it would be good.
Well, I've also heard that in the light novels there isn't really an MC.
Oh, that's a good point too.
And
It's-
the anime decided to focus on Snow White more than the other girls for some reason, which was a bad reason because
Yes.
Snow White is terrible.
Snow White was really bad.
Because they should have focused on Swim. She was the best character in the show.
Fucking Swim.
No, Top Speed was the best.
Top Speed was the best. Top Speed was the only one not edgy. Like, you got over
Okay.
there who's like, could
So-
not
Yeah, she was
form a
nice.
sentence.
Top Speed is the only one whose backstory actually made me feel bad for it.
I think I felt bad for the trap kid. Like, I felt bad for him because like that was like the first
Yeah,
death
sure.
of the main a main C-ish character, and we're like, yo, this is real. Like, the trap guy just died.
Well,
like, we dead.
Yeah.
I mean,
I also
Swim
like
had a stand, so
We are going full spoilers, right?
we
maybe not like full spoilers. Like the one about La Pucelle is pretty early, like really early. Like
spoiled that
3 episodes. in or
die.
something.
People die when they're killed.
Okay.
We did spoil the people die,
Except for the one who doesn't die when she's killed.
Oh shit!
Right.
Yeah. Wait, and then she still
Yeah.
died. I was so pissed at that. I was like, she's not
But
gonna
then,
die.
but then she was killed and did die for some reason.
I was pissed
and
at
I
that.
didn't really understand.
That pissed me off. I was like, she's
Well,
not
it
supposed
depends-
to die when
it
she
depends
kills.
Luck
on-
happened.
It depends on how if you're in your magical girl. I think you only get access to your powers if you're in your magical girl form.
Yeah, that was it.
Okay, yeah, that makes
That
sense.
makes sense. But what were you gonna say? Someone?
I think Kavik was trying
Yeah,
to talk.
Cap. Sorry.
I just wanted to ask what was your favorite death, but I'm not sure if I wanna if it's spoiler territory or not.
Yeah, no, I think that's going a little too far into spoiler
Okay.
territory.
All I'll
Okay.
say is Scarf. That's my favorite death.
Oh, I see.
That made me laugh.
Yeah,
like, that was bad. I should not laugh at that.
The one that I laughed about was the one with the lightning.
that was so bad.
I don't remember either of these. Well, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
I think it's... Well, I mean, you'd probably be laughing if you remembered. But I think...
The lightning was from...
The last episode?
The last episode, yeah.
Mine was from a middle one. That was not actually... I'll say that was a self-inflicted situation. But that's vague enough to not really cover it and still kind of be a spoiler. So that was... So I guess on that note...
I don't remember. That's how much I care about the show, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the only other thing I want to mention before we move on is that apparently there are many more light novels in this.
Apparently this was one of 7 arcs.
Yeah, 7 arcs, and other arcs are even more crazy and special, I guess.
Apparently powers get like JoJo levels of ridiculous.
Yeah, I will say the source material people who are commenting and everything did their job in that if a sequel were announced, I would be really excited to watch it.
I would watch it.
Yeah,
because it does sound like it gets better.
I mean, it was bad, but it kept me entertained, I guess, and I wasn't bored.
Yeah, it didn't hurt to watch it. Like, I wasn't in pain watching it.
I wasn't bored. It was a show that I had a lot of fun making fun of.
And that's all that matters.
I had fun watching the show. So.
Yeah.
It also did a good job of making me, like, cheer and gasp at the right times. Even if I didn't actually care about the characters, it was a lot of fun to see what happened to them.
Yeah. It did It did things. And that's more than some shows can say. So, good job, Magical Girl
So we'll
Rising.
go to another show that did things. We'll move on to another show that did things, which is Keijo with 8 exclamation marks. Get it right?
Important. Yeah.
Very important.
Does that mean you have to hold the O sound for 8 seconds?
They don't do it in the show, so I'm not doing that. Just like, Keijo!
Okay.
Like, yeah.
Keijo was a lot better than I expected it to be.
Keijo went from, like, wow, I can't believe this is happening, to, like, wow, I can't believe this is happening. Like, I, like, not, like...
You just added a few exclamation marks.
Wow. Yeah, I think, yeah, it was, like, yeah, it happened. I think I liked it, but it was also, like, some parts I think dragged a bit. Like, I know it's, like, supposed to be ironic and stuff, but there are some parts that were, like, legitimately hype.
Oh, yeah. The parts that dragged, like, there was, like, some training stuff that I wasn't really that interested in. Like the pulling, like, the turnips or whatever.
With her ass, like...
I don't really care about this at all.
Yeah.
But then, like, some of the fights, the puns...
The puns were funny. The puns were super funny. Like,
my favorite one was kind of early on, was when, like, a girl, like, uppercutted another girl with her boobs, and it said, "Sure, you cans."
Yeah.
That was good too.
I didn't know what that was until I saw you explain it, when it was like, that's an uppercut in a fighting game. Like...
Yeah, it's an uppercut in Street Fighter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure, you can.
Yeah, so I definitely, Gate of Bootylon is definitely my favorite stand in Keijo. That's my favorite. Like, that was hysterical. Like, that actual, like, that whole, like, battle, I was getting, like, legitimately invested in that. I was like, holy shit, they had, like, strategy, they were doing, like, they got ripped off, and I was, like, actively angry. I was like, this is bullshit. Like, I'm like, wait a minute, this is Keijo. I need to stop. But... but also, I just want to say, no one said this. Like, the pink yandere girl, the girl with pink hair who has, like, the crazy eyes, I think if she was the MC, I would, like, legitimately have, like...
The one who showed up in, like, episode 2 and just started wrecking everybody left and right.
Yeah, that one. Like, the pink... Like,
she's just walking, she's, like, snapping people's necks with her boobs and they're just, like, falling into the water.
Yeah, she gives them, like, whiplash and shit. Like, she gives them whiplash and stuff, and she has, like, the cute yandere voice with, like, the sparkling eyes. I'm like, yes, you need a show. You need to be... But yeah, so Keijo was, like, not bad, but it wasn't, like... I don't know how to say it, because it, like, half of it is, like, just so ironic, and the other half is unironic, so it was a lot better than I expected.
I went into it the premise alone sounds entertaining enough, whether that be a good or bad thing, to keep me watching. So I'm like, I'll watch it. I'll probably have some really terrible ecchi, which actually wasn't that much. I was really surprised by that.
Yeah, it was definitely, like, situation. It definitely depended on the situation. There were, like the one where it's, like, the one fight where the girl, makes her like nipples hard, and then she throws someone else over in like a judo move with her
she uses her nipples to like attach herself to the other person's swimsuit, and then judo throws them into the ground.
Like, this is that's like the weirdest sentence I've said all year.
Right. That's a little much. That's a little much.
That's when I was like, are you kidding me with this shit? But I mean,
or the girl who would like twist her nipples so they spun like drills.
Yeah, it went like Gurren Lagann with her boobs. Like, this is so it's
Whoa.
like it had a whoa. This now Cav's adding into the PTW. Like,
yeah, I'm adding to the plan to watch this.
Yeah,
well,
it was.
I'm glad you said that terrible sentence because it put the brakes on the I should watch Keijo train that was going in.
Yes.
Yes. So Keijo is just as awful as you'd imagine, but it's kind of fun. So that happened. Keijo happened.
It's the only show of the season. It's the only show of the season. I think I'm looking at the list here. I don't see anything else. I think it's the only show of the season that actually got me to stop, pause the episode, and go, "What the fuck?"
And you're watching JoJo this season. Like, that's high praise.
So it was the
that's cheating though, because Smurf knew everything that happened already.
His next line is, "I was already watching JoJo before JoJo came
out." It was the scene shot from like episode 10, I think, where like two girls like shared a swimsuit.
Yeah, that like pissed me off. I got angry at that. I was like, this is not this is just dumb. This is dumb.
They're like, we're gonna combine, and I was like Gurren Lagann style or whatever. Like,
it's an obvious reference to Evangelion 3.0 when Shinji and Kaworu pilot the mech together.
Oh my!
Come on, guys.
So she like opens up her swimsuit. The other girl like falls from the sky, like lands in it.
Yeah, it's like they're
they're like together. And we're just like
spoilers.
That's
spoiling
Keijo. It was spoiler.
It's not a spoiler.
But
I think it is.
Spoiling Keijo, man.
That pissed me off. I was like, this is dumb. Like, I was like, yo, fuck this.
I thought it was hilarious, but that
OP,
was like
overpowered villains, no background.
Actually yell, "What the fuck?" Start laughing really hard, and then like start the episode back up again.
Mine was the nipple one. That was my line where I was like, I'm not on this planet. What the fuck? Like, but. So yeah, Keijo happened. Watch at your own risk.
Just watch it. Like, period.
Okay.
It's really fun.
If you say
I might actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll move on to our next show, which is less girls, despite
just
the
as
title,
much Yuri, but
Yes.
but less
Keijo
land.
didn't really have that much Yuri in it.
Just as much Yuri, less land, but on ice. That was terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Yuri on Ice was
Yuri on Ice. Yeah.
Yuri on Ice was a fun one. I think I really liked it. That's my preface, but I think it kind of got hyped up for things that weren't really warranted to be hyped up about.
Yeah.
Like, people were talking about, fantastic animation, great production value, and I think that was true, like, for the first 2 episodes.
For the first few episodes.
And then it kind of dipped a lot because they were doing, like, 6 performances an episode, which is a lot, and that's a lot to take on. But it definitely
It came back in the last episode. The animation at the end was
yeah.
really good again.
Yeah, so it was in the first 2, it was really great, and then the last episode was really great, but it really dipped a lot. And maybe it wasn't, like, the animation itself, but what was being animated was pretty meh. Like, we got a lot of, like, stick figures, long necks, like... So, I don't think the production value on the animation should have been praised as much as it was. I personally had some gripes with some of the sports elements. Like, I didn't really care about some of the skaters, except, like, of course, the main... I cared
That's
about...
actually what I think it did best.
You think so?
I think it did the side characters really well.
So many of them that you couldn't explore all of them.
Yeah.
So the show kinda focused just on several of them.
Yeah.
And I believe it did a fine job on it. Not like a very good job, but fine.
I had, like, gripes when it's like, you have 6 people skating in a tournament. I care about, like, 2 of them. Then you have 4 sides, and I'll, like, kind of care about some of them, but I never really connected with some of the sides when they do their background stories. I fucking hate Chris. Like, that's, like, Chris needs to go. Like, Chris is the worst. Fuck Chris.
Whoa.
JJ was, like, annoying and then got better. Like, he got impressive. His
JJ
theme,
was the best character.
JJ's theme...
And you know it.
No,
People
Victor...
like JJ.
The ballad theme of King JJ?
I've been listening
He
to
wrote
that
a
on
song
repeat.
about himself called Theme of King JJ, and it's the best song.
I mean, honestly, when I hear the line, I look in the mirror and the king smiles back at me, I'm like, yo, same. Like, oh, me and JJ are the same. And, like, Miyano...
JJ sounds awesome.
JJ was, like, annoying,
he's
and then
very
I loved
cocky.
him. Yeah.
Oh,
He's
it's
very
Mamoru
cocky and
Miyano.
charismatic.
Let's see.
But,
I had to talk about him earlier today.
But yeah, I
I
think...
don't like the voice actor.
You don't like Miyano? Oh my god, leave. Okay. But, yeah, so I think I had problems. I think they needed to, like, not do as much on the, like, side performances and focus more on the main ones. But I still really I really enjoyed it. I think there was some, like, really great aspects to Yuri on Ice that we don't really get normally. I felt happy after each episode, and I can't say that for many shows.
Yeah.
Same. I'd say it was a beautiful anime about skating overall, and I really enjoyed the main trio of characters. They were all great. I also was kinda surprised by the ending. It wasn't too expected. I would say.
Sort of.
Yeah, kinda.
I was too disappointed to be surprised.
Which part were you disappointed about? Because there's different options to be disappointed on.
Both.
About who won, I would say. About who won at the end.
It was like, that's a hit or miss, because it was like, I wanted either of them to win, but I kind of felt like, one deserved it more than the other. Like, it was kind of clear cut on that.
Yeah.
But I was rooting really hard for, Yuri, and I was rooting almost as hard for Yurio. But, but yeah, I mean, that's kind of the thing too, is like in the final episode, we have like this really beautiful performance with Yuri, and it's like super touching. I feel like so connected to it. And then we have like 2 more performances until we get to Yurio, I'm like, okay, so now I have 2 more performances that I don't really care about. I need them to fail, but I don't care. And then Yurio comes up, and I think the kind of like pacing between the two was just showed that like I didn't really care about a decent amount of the characters.
So you're saying the tension wasn't there, right?
What?
You're saying that the tension wasn't
Yeah.
Like, it didn't...
Yeah, like, the climax for me in the last episode happened at, like, the halfway point. Like, that was the highlight of the show, and then...
Yeah, I think that's true.
And then it's kind of like, well, then it kind of goes downhill because there's nowhere else for it to go. But I think the ending set it up really nicely for Season 2, which it seems to be heading towards that direction. If they don't have a Season 2, it'll be a disappointing ending.
Didn't they announce a Season 2? I'm pretty sure they confirmed
It's like 90...
No, there was like a thing at the end that said "see you next time," but there wasn't like a...
It's like 95% sure. With like it's selling really well. It's selling amazingly well. Yeah. I think the studio would be interested in doing another season.
No one's surprise, of course.
Yeah.
Who animated it?
Mappa. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought it was, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, so I think everyone would be definitely down to do another season. We could definitely see how passionate everyone involved was, which was really nice.
Yep.
That's always fun. That's always really good.
It was really cool seeing all the interviews with actual like world-class skaters saying it's crazy how accurate this is and like how they nail all of the aspects of professional skating.
Yeah. What I really liked about Yuri on Ice is the whole project where they established their Instagram account, Twitter, and everyone from the real skating world reacted to it and watched it. And it was great. Like, that's how we promote anime, actually.
Yeah, I think it's great. It's established, like, a really cool sense of community, like, in the skating world, in the show, and then the outside skating community could comment on it and was so enthusiastic about it. Like, it was cool to get that.
Yeah, that was really cool.
That was awesome. So, and I also love the OP and ED. That's just, like, side note. Those are fantastic.
They're great, yeah. There is also one thing I want to ask about, and that's Shonen undertones. What do you think about them?
What was that?
Shonen undertones. I mean, the whole, the whole gay, I guess, theme that's going on with the anime.
Oh, okay.
Let me counter your question with a question. In the end, was Yuri on Ice a sports anime with romance, or was it a romance anime based around sports?
It's a good question.
I believe it was a sports anime after all.
I would agree.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm on that page. I think it was a sports anime with romance, not a romance with sports.
It felt like the romance peaked like halfway through the season with the
Yeah.
Oh,
And then
people went crazy.
from that point on, the relationship was never developed any further.
Well, they had
And there's
the
like the
marriage
thing with the rings, but that was bullshit because it didn't actually happen.
I think it's
And-
tough. Yeah, I think it's tough because of course you have like we had Wednesdays this season where we have Hibike Euphonium, and then we had Yuri on Ice, so they were Wednesdays where we have like our Yuri and our Yao like airing back to back.
Yes.
And I wouldn't call their relationship bait, but I would definitely call it inconclusive. I think there is a relationship, and I think that they have feelings for each other. I don't know if they're together. I don't know what current status they have based on the 12 episodes we saw, but I think it's more than just Yao baiting. But
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
think it's
That's the way I
conclusive.
feel too. I wouldn't call it queer baiting myself,
Mhm.
but I also wouldn't blame anybody who did.
So
Yeah.
would you say that it was less baity than like I haven't seen Hibike or Yuri on Ice, but I hear that Hibike is very split on the community where some people are like, yeah, it's Yuri, and then people are just like, no, it's not Yuri, you're wrong.
I'd say
is it more
Yuri on Ice-
conclusive than that?
Yeah.
I'd say Yuri on Ice was more playful and decent with it, and Hibike was more serious with it. So
Yeah,
it kind of depends on your perspective.
I'd agree
like-
with that.
I liked expecting Yuri more because it was less serious,
Yeah.
and Hibike was actually. I really dislike this aspect of
Like,
Hibike, let's say.
was Hibike like trying to actually tell a story about people playing insects?
No, that's a problem too.
No.
The problem with I agree with that with what you said, Cav. I think it's more of like Yuri and Ice was more playful about their relationship, but I would call it a relationship. In Hibike, I wouldn't call that a lesbian relationship. I would still say that they're like a friendship and they have moments
Yes,
of
yes.
sexual tension and then they don't comment on it again. Whereas like Yuri
Like,
on
just-
Ice,
like they're
it's
just really close
is like,
friends.
hey, like, yo, we're like might like, but then we don't know about their relationship, but we know that there's feelings there. I think it's a bit more conclusive, but it's also more playful, so it works for its setting. Whereas Hibike, it's kind of like there's a huge kind of jarring, like, oh, we're having a cool friendship moment, oh, sexual tension moment, back to friendship. Like, it's kind of weird with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I hope we get a season 2 for that. I really enjoyed it, and I hope in that one we get more conclusive outcomes on their relationship.
Yeah. I would also like a new season because it was really fun to watch. Like,
Yeah.
it was really a blast, and the episodes to buy, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right, cool. So it sounds like Yuri was definitely worth watching.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Definitely worth watching. But
Definitely
not as
worth
good
watching.
as it definitely could have been.
Yeah,
Okay,
for sure.
all right, that's fair. So we can move on to we have time for like one last show. We can talk about Fune Wamu, which I'm going to call it forever.
The Great
It's not
Passage.
it's not fetch. We're not calling it fetch.
Well, I'm calling it Wamu because
JoJo.
it's Fune wo Wamu, and then there's a JoJo character named Wamu. Yeah,
Yeah.
I say it fast
It's a
enough, it
JoJo
sounds
thing.
like a JoJo character.
But
It's a JoJo. You wouldn't understand
Yeah.
it. It's a JoJo thing.
yeah, so I just finished this like 2 hours ago, and that was like a really nice show. That was a really cool nice slice of life. It was
Yeah, it was a very pleasant slice of life.
very comfy without being boring. Like, it was nice, not too much drama, but not stale. It's nice.
It was
Yeah,
it was
it was
just
really-
nice all around.
Yeah, it was just
Yeah,
nice.
it was just good. I wouldn't say it was as exceptional as, let's say, Rokugo, for example, earlier
Yeah.
from the year.
Yeah.
But it was good enough.
Yeah, I feel like, yeah, I think it was really nice. It was cool to have, it was a cool slice of life for, like, adults in, like, a workplace environment. It was cool to see, like, the romance elements were cool. I kind of wish they played them up more. At first I liked how subtle they were, but I think I kind of would have liked
Yeah.
to see more of it.
I really disliked the time skip. Like, I
Yeah.
get that it was necessary, but it felt
Yeah.
like the stuff they cut out was all the stuff I most wanted to see.
And it came out of nowhere. Like, I just binged it, so I was like, okay, business as usual. Wait a minute, why is everyone old? Like, it really came out
Wait,
of nowhere.
15 years just passed.
Yeah, and I was like, why does she look old? Like, what's going on? And then they're like, they had the annoying dictionaries come out, and they're like, oh my god, so much can happen in 13 years. And I'm like, yeah, it can.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that was kind of, yeah.
So was it just like one episode? Like Like the next episode started, and
So it's
like
like-
the time skip happened like between episodes.
Yeah, so it's like episode
like,
7
let's
ended.
put it this way: one episode ends with the main character like confessing to the girl he's interested in, and then at the beginning of the next episode, they're married.
Yeah,
Yes.
and someone died. Spoilers. Well, but like it was like
Yeah.
a mainish character. Sorry, and like so it's like someone died, and like we're like not commenting on them again. Like they just died in between episodes. We have like
But
subtle.
it's been like 10 years for the characters, so like they're over it.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
no one is like we get the message that they died from, like, you know how like in Japan they have like their picture and then they like light a prayer and like pray and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that was
Yeah.
our confirmation they died, and they were like a relatively major character up until that point, because like 13
Wow.
characters.
So they're just like yeah, it happened forever ago. We're used to it, and like the audience is like, wait, what? No, wait, what? I liked him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like okay, bye, I guess. But so I think the time skip was a
That's
bit.
awful.
Yeah, it was a bit rough. It wasn't as rough as
well,
it could
some
be, but it was
people-
kind of rough.
But
Some
like,
people commented
did
on
it
it
kinda-
that it was kinda a subtle way to put it, without any unnecessary drama. So yeah, I also believe it wasn't as good. And
yes, would it have fit the tone of the show if you actually just like watched a guy die?
I'd say yes, because I believe the anime would actually handle the theme of death very well. So yeah, I think it would be a good thing to put. And I also believe why they skipped it is the shortcoming of 11 episodes anime.
Yeah, and it worked, and it was like really nice. It had some really touching moments. I thought it was nice and comfy. It wasn't like a groundbreaking slice of life, but it was worth watching.
I also enjoyed the last episode.
Yeah.
It was really touching.
The last episode was super touching. It had a lot of great quotes, and there was a lot of nice imagery used, especially for a show. Like, props to them for making a show about making dictionaries seem interesting. That has got to be the most
seriously.
boring premise
Seriously.
I've heard ever.
Yeah, I haven't heard much bad about Fune. I didn't watch it because there wasn't enough punching.
Not enough rhyme.
Yeah, there wasn't enough like crying or like horns made of tornadoes or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Not enough Keijo. Not enough exclamation
But-
points.
I haven't heard anything bad about it. Like, the worst I've heard about it was like Amazon sucks at putting it out on time or something like. That's like the biggest complaint people have is that it doesn't come out fast enough.
Yeah. So
I think it was good but not exceptional, and I feel like
Yeah.
anybody who liked Fune wo Amu would like Rakugo more.
Yeah.
I feel like it's weird to compare the
okay.
two though, because Rakugo is like a drama and like a lot more like intense. Like there's a lot more substance to Rakugo too. This was also kind of just like a comfy slice of life with people making dictionaries, and like sometimes some shit happens, but not really. You know, I'd
Yeah.
compare this more so
Yeah.
to like an Usagi drop, which is a much more like, which is also kind of like a comfy slice of life that has some drama moments but nothing overplayed. And I'd say it's like not as good as Usagi Drop was, but it's still nice and comfy and worth a watch. Like if you enjoyed Usagi
Well,
Drop, you could watch this.
Yeah.
I like the Rakugo comparison because they're both about like preserving and pouring your heart into an art that most people don't appreciate.
Yeah, on that level, it's pretty similar. Like on
Yeah,
concept.
but Fune didn't go as in depth as Rakugo did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Fune was nice. Check it out. It's like the hidden gem of the season, probably.
It was good.
And like you guys mentioned, it's a little bit shorter than normal because it's a Noitamina show,
Yeah.
so it's
Yep.
only 11
Yeah.
episodes. All right, cool.
Do we want to
Okay.
talk about sequels?
Yeah, we could do a quick rundown, right? We had some sequels.
Yeah,
maybe. We're kind of running out of time.
We've already touched
We're gonna do something a
Hibike
little
a bit, I guess.
So
Like, what do you want to talk about?
I just want to.
Haikyuu?
Yeah, I just said Haikyuu is great. That was
I mean,
Haikyuu's-
you're not wrong.
thank you.
It was pretty great.
Haikyuu did good.
I liked it a lot.
Haikyuu did some good shit.
Best-
I guess it showed up
It
this
was the
season.
best.
The season was a lot better than I expected it to be. When I heard like 10 episodes for a single match, I thought this is going to drag and be really dull by the end, but it never was.
Yeah, there were some surprises that I was excited to see.
I was kind of getting a little bit tired of it. Like, it never like dropped my score any or anything. Like, it's still a solid 9, just like the other seasons.
Yeah.
But with like an episode or 2 left in the game, I'm just like, all right, guys, like we've been here for like 2.5 months. Like we can We can speed this up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say the game was a bit too long.
Well, my
Just a
issue
bit
with
long.
Haikyuu already is that it's really repetitive and kind of predictable. And
Yep.
that was also true of this season, but something about it kept me hyped and kept me interested.
There were good character stuff. Like Suki had really good character moments.
Yeah.
Suki, best
Yeah.
boy.
Carried the show really hard.
I didn't like him going into season 1 and 2.
Neither
Don't
did
care
I.
for him at all, really.
Yeah.
Season 3, I was just like, yes, Suki, you did it.
Yeah, I think this might be an exaggeration, but like episode 4 where like Suki cheered and you have that like it's only 1 point, like 1 out of 25, it's just a club, like that whole moment was like might be my favorite moment of like
that was so
anime that
good.
aired this year. Like that's my moment of the year. Like seeing
Yeah.
that come to fruition, like seeing it in like the manga and then seeing it come to life and seeing them doing it big with that scene was like the best payoff for Suki. Like that
I
was
loved
awesome.
everyone else's reactions to that too. Like, holy shit, Suki just got excited about someone. Let's all
Yeah.
dogpile on him.
Yeah.
Like Suki cheering.
My favorite part was where the backup guy came in and like got 2 points.
Which one?
Like Naruto.
Yeah,
Naruto?
yeah. You're like
Naruto?
you're hidden unsung hero, Naruto.
Yeah, like I'm in the discussion thread, just like, yes, Naruto, you did
Like
it.
generic
Good
background
job."
character who just sits on their bench, but then actually did something.
Yeah, like you did
He
it.
fucking nailed it. Yeah, that was pretty great. I also liked
Because that would literally be me. Like I would be the teammate who just stands there in like the little bench area for like the whole like tournament.
but would you know if you would get
Him
2
coming
points
in.
in?
I probably wouldn't.
So,
That's why I'm so proud of it.
that's why he did it. So yeah,
Smurf confirmed as a background character.
he did some good stuff. Naruto's the MVP we needed. But yeah, Haikyuu did good. That's all. That's it.
I
Right,
don't
next
even know
sequel,
the other sequels.
Ajin Season 2. Like, secretly one of the best shows of the season.
Didn't watch
Secretly
it.
one of the
Season
best shows of the
season-
year.
Season 1 was amazing, so I really need to watch season 2.
Season 2 is even better, man.
It's a better Parasite. That's all I'm gonna. That's how I describe
Whoa,
it.
that's
Yeah.
I love Parasite. On it.
Okay.
I'm gonna go-
Imagine Parasite, but they all have stands.
Whoa.
Oh.
Whoa, it's almost like JoJo at that point. JoJo was also good. I hear some good things about JoJo. I might pick it up.
It's alright.
Oh yeah, we should probably mention that sequel.
Yo,
That's pretty
Nah,
good.
it aired in spring. We've gone over that.
I don't know if you know this, but like JoJo is pretty good. Like I just wanted to say that. That's all. I'm glad I got that off my chest.
Yeah, well, as soon as we're done here, I need to record my submission for Our Anime Sings Great Days.
Yo, same.
Oh,
We're
I
all
need to
doing
do
that,
that.
right? We're all doing that, right? Everyone has to sing Great
Of
Days.
course. Yeah.
No one's. I don't have any time. Like nobody like leaves the house here. I don't have time alone.
You got to sing it when they're there. Like you need to perform for them. I also
Because-
kind of
maintain-
Because it's the best opening.
it is.
while maintaining eye contact.
Well, maintain eye contact to assert your dominance, and have some menacing going on.
Let
in
the voice
background.
of love take you higher, Smurf.
Yes.
I'll put up all my posters. I have a bunch of posters I need to put up. Like I have like a Kira poster and like a Dio poster.
He's like for sure my waifu, Kira. I don't know if that's acceptable, but like close enough.
That's
been
definitely a
weird.
bad idea.
I don't think it's a bad idea. I think it's okay. Like you can't call
Especially
my
'cause
waifu
he only
trash.
loves you for your hand.
He can
It
take
was
my
nice
hands.
knowing you.
I like Rohan too. Rohan's Bae.
He is my
yes.
favorite.
Rohan's
I can make a favorite character from part 4. Yeah.
Rohan's a babe. Yeah, that was pretty great. I wanted to say, since I was kind of not like trashing on it before, but I actually did really like Hibike season 2 this year. I really liked it. It did a lot of good stuff. People had some gripes with the drama in the first half, but I didn't really have a problem with it, so it was fine. And then the second half was really great and touching. Asuka, best girl, got some great moments to shine, and it was a great finale for the series. That's it. Did you watch it too?
I'm conflicted about Hibike. I'd say I'm conflicted about Hibike because it still had a lot of unrealized potential. Because, like, I believe the second half, one character, Asuka, carried the show hard.
Yeah.
And the first half, it kinda introduced new characters, while the old ones, like Hazuki or Midori, weren't developed or explored at all, and left in the dust for entire season 2.
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't they be explored in the first half of the season 2, and why would they introduce new characters who really not anyone cares about?
Yeah, I think that was kind of a miss on that part. It was kind of like there was definitely some sacrifices for like they sacrificed the main sides, mainish characters, and then for new characters, which I think was like I never cared about them that much, so it wasn't really that much of a miss for me. But it was definitely like a weird move story wise.
Yeah, and the other
Grape
is constant Yuri bait, because they kinda there and they kinda went nowhere because it felt like just another selling point for Kyoto Animation just to push the anime forward into the target audience.
Yeah.
And didn't actually provide any actual meaning information to the plot or just doing characters.
Yeah, I'm like torn on that because I never really cared about the Yuri bait, like in positive and negative ways, but I think it was also like I really don't like how it went from like you'd have they're like just having like a friendship moment and then it gets intense and then it goes back to nothing. And you know, the whole subplot of like Reina having a crush on her teacher and they're talking about that while also showing her and like Kumiko in these like very intimate situations. Like it was really jarring between the two, and it wasn't enough to like bother me that much, but it was definitely like a misfire for the show.
Yeah, I'd agree with this here.
Yeah.
And the ending was kinda nice, though people are kinda torn about the last scene.
Yeah.
Where one actual event happened.
Yeah, I think I like that last scene. I guess I forget the direct last scene. I like the last episode. It was nice. It was like wrapped things up well, but I can see it either way.
Yeah, I guess so. And I guess it's all about our sequels for the season.
Yeah,
I think we're good. I didn't have anything else I wanted to really talk about. Like there's like Bungo, Stray Dogs, and I don't really want to talk about that because that would.
I'd also want to
better
bring
than
out,
season 1, but not by much.
I'd also want to bring out that this season Saiki Kusuo has ended, and it's an amazing short series that I want to recommend to anyone to watch.
And season 2 comes out probably next year, so definitely watch it in preparation for that. Best comedy I've seen, maybe like tied with like Nozaki-kun.
So how long is it in like total minutes? Because it's like over 100 episodes, but each episode is really short.
24 episodes.
In total runtime, it's a 2-core show.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay. That's not bad. I'm gonna check it out then.
Yeah, it's not like... But it's like... Yeah, seeing 120 episodes on Mal is very intimidating. But they're all shorts.
Yeah, and nice. It's a really, really, really funny show.
Nice. Okay, I'm gonna check that out. After singing
so we said we were gonna talk about Fune as our last show, and then we talked about 4 or 5 more shows after that. So
yeah. We did
I guess we'll end it here. That was fall.
All right.
That was fall.
It was a pretty good season.
It was not the worst season of all time.
Too bad next season is going to be the worst season of all time.
Don't believe Reddit. It wasn't the best season.
But spring is going to be the best season of all time.
Until it happens, and then it's the worst season of all time.
It's after this one, so it has to be worse.
That's true. You know, you're right. I can't argue with that logic.
Yeah.
All right. So that wraps up this podcast. So
thanks for everyone tuning in. Happy 2017.
Yeah, hopefully it's better than this year. Or last year, I guess this comes out after the new year.
Yeah.
Sinris, thanks for joining us.
And welcome back, Cav.
As always.
It's a lot of fun having you. It's good to have Cav back after a
thank you.
several-month hiatus.
I guess.
So yeah, that's the podcast.
That's it.
See you next time, everyone.
Yep.
So,
let the voice of love take you higher.
Yeah, there you go. That's all you need to know. All right, later.
Later.